Welcome back to the Fireside Chat on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network. I believe that today I have the youngest guest we have ever had on the show. Mary MacDonald will be joining me. Mary is a parasport athlete. She is a participant in the wheelchair track and field events. She is the Massachusetts Miss Amazing winner who is heading to nationals, as well as the 2026 Sports and Spokes Junior Athlete of the Year. So, as you can see, that's just a fraction of the accomplishments that Mary has, and I'm super excited to have her on the show. But before we get started talking to Mary, please do us a favor, subscribe, rate, review the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. We also have the Everyday Athlete Clubhouse, which you can join by heading to runtrimag.com, go to shop on the drop down, join the Everyday Athlete Clubhouse. We have a fantastic community of everyday athletes who are showing up on a regular basis, consistently proving that the obstacles in their way are temporary as we pursue our goals and dreams and try to make the world a better place by inspiring and motivating others to continue to pursue their dreams. So enough about me and the Everyday Athlete Clubhouse. Let's bring Mary onto the show and let's have a great conversation. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I have to let you know that I am way up before my normal alarm clock so that I could chat with you today.
For me, it's 10:03, and I sleep until like 11 because I train after that. So,
well, good for you. I believe you are probably the youngest guest we've ever had on our show. So my first question, which I ask to everybody, I will be interested in hearing your answer. Because the first question we ask everybody is, who is? So who is Mary MacDonald?
Well, I am a 17-year-old athlete who has dreams of becoming a Paralympian when I grow up. And I am someone who enjoys basically everything in life, the minor things, but the big accomplishments that happen, every little thing that happens that's good, I think of it as an accomplishment. That's who I am.
Has being or becoming an Olympian, a Paralympian, always been a dream for you, or was it once you got into sport? Like, how did this all evolve?
Yeah, so originally, I don't know if you mentioned, but I had a weight loss journey, and that was my first real reason to get into sport. And then, the runner's bug. Everyone, the runner's high, the runner's bug. It caught me, and I kept meeting these wonderful Paralympians through racing and becoming friends with these people. And then I realized that dream is very attainable for me. Oh, I want to try to become a Paralympian. That's really cool. And I would love to be able to represent my country.
That is amazing. So is sports a big deal in your family, or are you the first person who's kind of like introducing the family to these sports?
So sports is kind of like something that wasn't really big in my family. I was one of the first. My family has tried together to go on an overall like weight loss journey, but I was the first one to take sports as the avenue rather than like just doing I was the first one to do it competitively. So I was kind of one of the first to actually get into sports. Yeah.
What is it about sports that you keep coming back to? Because look, and I say this to a lot of my guests, we choose something hard. Like we are literally choosing to do the hard things where we could join a book club, we could join a chess club, which would be difficult in other ways, but there's the physical difficulty of participating in sport, right? The fatigue, the mental aspects of it. Why continue to participate in sport? What is it about sport that keeps you coming back?
It makes me feel alive, which a lot of people say that, but back in 2020 I had severe depression, kind of everyone was kind of on this kind of slump, right? And it was really hard to just get up out of bed in the morning, but now having sports makes me realize, oh, I actually can like enjoy getting and being active. It's not something that's like a chore for me. So basically the reason I do it is just to keep me feeling motivated to continue, just keep being me. That's basically why.
You mentioned dealing with depression when, and you're very young in comparison to me. I'm 52 years old. So you're a young athlete. How did the depression come about? And if you don't mind, telling a
Mhm.
story of how you became a wheelchair athlete.
Yeah, so depression came about due to weight gain and just severe anxiety. I went to a school where bullying was quite frequently happening to me. I got shoes thrown at me at one point, which I look back and I laugh at because who's gonna walk around with one shoe all day? That's kind of insane. Um, but yeah, definitely it started out with that, and it started when my parents were like, "Okay, we need to get her involved with either sports or a club or something." And I had an old basketball wheelchair. If you look at it, it's the wheels with the slanted wheels. It has 4 wheels to use for wheelchair basketball. And I started sprinting. I did the 50-meter indoor, and that's what really started it. And I found a community there. I made friends. And then all of a sudden, I was one of my friends from tennis got me into track, and then I got the track gave me and her a chair. It's Achilles International gave both of us a
Yes.
chair, and that's when I fully was able to actually become competitive for the first time. And after that, that's kind of a history, you know.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand because I know I didn't until I had a conversation with another wheelchair athlete that there are various chairs for various activities.
Yeah.
There's an assumption that one chair fits all, right? Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, expand
Yeah.
on that. Go ahead.
Definitely not. I mean, each chair is different. Like, let's say my track chair, um, versus my day chair. My current day chair actually has no tubes. It's completely solid rubber. While my track chair, I have to blow up the tires because they have tubes in them. And the reason why they have tubes is because it's number one lighter and number two easier to roll upon like dirt, gravel, and well, not dirt, but roll upon like roads easily. And the weird part is the difference of prices between the chairs too. You'll have a day chair that'll come in around like, I don't know, I'm trying to give a rough estimate, $10,000, while a racing chair can go up to anything to like 20,000. That's the rough estimate. I was thankful enough for my current chair to get a grant because a lot of people don't know these chairs can be very expensive, especially when you're doing regular maintenance on them.
Yeah, they are very expensive. Vic also explained to me the difficulties in travel with a chair and like trying to navigate through airports and through an airplane. Have you experienced that same thing in your travels? Have you been able to travel and be in a chair?
So I've been able to travel slightly. It's actually better when you're with a group of disabled people rather than by yourself.
Okay.
I recently went to this place called Cedartown. It's in Georgia. They do a track camp, and I was flying home with one of my friends. And having another wheelchair user with us made them more aware that there was multiple, like,
Yeah.
kind of more independent wheelchair users. So that was really helpful. But in the past, I've had issues with my track chair becoming broken by some airlines. I'm not going to say who because I got to be nice. Um, but we were coming home and I had these specific track tires that have spokes. So you can have spokeless, which is completely carbon fiber and flat, kind of like disc bikes, kind
Yeah.
of. I know a lot of people on here are bikers, so they'll understand that. But the spokes, they untrued my wheels. Along with
Hmm.
that, my fender on my chair broke. So it was a very rough situation trying to get that fixed so quickly before my next race. So that was definitely something that I've experienced is the toughness of traveling.
And when you have issues with tires being out of true or the fender breaks and things like that, and you have to get it fixed, is that covered by insurance or is that all out of pocket at that time?
So nothing of the sports chairs is covered by insurance, which is really sad because they are
Yes.
what is active. Um, Basically, I either use grant funding that I have applied for, or my parents pay for it, or I pay for it with my Instagram money that I get because
Hmm.
that's my job currently. Is Instagram. So that's kind of how we pay for it. It's really rough when it becomes like over like $500 to fix something, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh darn, I don't know if I have the money to do that right now, and so you have to go most of the time I'd go on like Facebook Marketplace and look for like a gently used set of wheels if that becomes a case.
So in the green room, we were talking, you're wearing a BAA shirt. We talked about you being too young for the marathon, but you do have hopes to one day race in the Boston Marathon, correct?
Oh yes, definitely. My friends have gone and raced. One of my friends, Domas, has gone and raced the Boston Marathon. I've had my idols, Eden Rainbow Cooper. She is a wheelchair racer from Britain. She's raced it, and the first year I actually got to watch it and understand it, she won. So it's definitely something I want to do, so I can just like be like my idols.
Your reaction to saying her name tells me a lot. And I want to know, is it Rainbow Cooper? Is that her name?
Eden Rainbow Cooper, yes.
Why is she such an idol to you?
Well, if you look at a lot of wheelchair racers, most of them are very lean, very a lot of them have this very like lean build. Well, she's pure strength, but it doesn't matter the way her body looks, you know? She doesn't have much muscle definition like myself. And seeing someone out there that kind of looks like me made me very inspired because at first, like when I first started out, I was, I don't know, 190 pounds. And seeing someone that looked kind of similar to me against people that looked like what my friends looked like was kind of amazing. And especially once she won, I was like screaming and crying of joy.
That is awesome. So clearly Boston is at the top of the list of races you want to participate in. Are there other races that you have on your bucket list?
Anything from the World Series would be really awesome. Berlin, I'm trying to think. There's some UK races that I'm looking at. Tokyo, if I can get into Tokyo. There's that one weird pin turn that everyone keeps making memes about online that I want to try to do in my racing wheelchair. So definitely.
That is awesome. Any visions or thoughts of going beyond the marathon distance, getting into ultras?
Oh gosh. You know, oh gosh. I've only done a half marathon distance at most currently. I'm tackling the Philadelphia half marathon soon. I'm kind of I'm waiting until a completely flat marathon course comes towards me. Then I'll be able to do that. But I'm waiting till after I finish a marathon to see if I can do that distance. I do love distance. It's just there's a certain point where a wheelchair racer is just like, oh no, I can't grab water, you know?
Yeah, well, that was the next question, and I wanted to get into is in racing in general, and what do you look for when it comes to registering for an event? What are must-haves from races so that you can compete in a way that is safe? One, two, that you are recognized on the course, and not necessarily because you're Mary MacDonald, but because you're in a wheelchair, and we make sure that they're volunteering attention and how to help out at aid stations for a race that when you're for it.
A lot of the times, I'm definitely looking for a safe road course, you know, something not with a lot of potholes because a wheelchair user's tire can pop pretty quickly when it comes to potholes. And if there is potholes, I would love to see them spray painted with like a little circle around them or some notification that there is one. Road safety, if we're talking like a road race, road safety is my biggest thing. It doesn't need to be a closed course, but I would like to have, if there's intersections, I would love to have a police officer there. And there's been some races I've gone to where the police officers are just sitting on the car on their phone, and I'm just like, I need to cross the street. And so thankfully, my dad usually comes with me on a bike and guides me. So it really just depends on the wheelchair user. And at more elite levels, they're usually fine. But since I am a kid, I'm always a little bit more scared when it comes to roadways. And I definitely look for no dirt paths. I really don't like dirt paths. I don't got off-roading tires.
That's fantastic. I'm going to ask you about that in a second. So when you're registering for an event, do you have to get in touch with the race director to let them know that your dad will be on the course with you riding a bike? And has that been difficult to get RDs to agree?
I think it depends on the race and whether it's a local race versus like something like the BAA. The BAA already has like race like guides offered to the people for wheelchair users for the first and the last of each pack. So that's really nice. But when it comes to local races, I do have to notify both that I'm actually in a wheelchair and the fact that my dad might be coming with me. And that's mainly for because I need a earlier start time to make sure
Mhm.
that to make sure I don't run over everyone. And so then I can actually get through before the pack kind of gets behind me, so I don't get trampled as well. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the race, but local races I do usually have to contact a race director. Yeah,
Yeah, I would imagine that there's a little bit of back and forth, and from an educational standpoint, from your perspective, that you're educating the RDs on the needs of the wheelchair as well as the needs of having your dad with you, right?
definitely. I mean, the amount of people who didn't even know wheelchair racing existed that were RDs is really funny. You know, it's kind of like really great to be able to just go out and say, hey, you know, I tried your race, but there was a car that almost was like right in front of me. So in the future, do you mind putting someone here instead of all the way back there? You know, stuff like that. It's great to be
Yeah,
able to say that.
it is amazing to me over the course of the 6 years that I've been running this business and talking to various athletes, the amount of assumptions that get made, that every athlete is exactly the same, is astounding. Athletes who are in wheelchairs, we've had have prosthetics, you know, whether it's a blade or um, arms that they've had prosthetics for. Like, there's just been this assumption that everybody's the same. And so I'm going to ask you a question that I've asked other disabled athletes. When you go to a registration page and you go through the drop downs and the menus, is it disheartening if there is no para division or disabled division when you're looking to register?
It really depends, but to me, if there isn't a para division, that means that I might be able to pave the way to get one, you know? So
Oh,
to
okay.
me, it's just like at it from an advocacy standpoint and looking at it from like a paving the way kind of standpoint. If there isn't already one there, why don't I make it, you know, or contact the person? There's usually always an email I can contact. So, you know, in the future, usually there will be one after a wheelchair user gets in there. So to me, it's just another thing to help make the community stronger and better.
So for you, is the mindset that there's no obstacle that I can't overcome?
Pretty much, yeah.
What does it look like as an advocate when you come across that website to register and there is no para or disabled division? What are the steps you're now taking to contact the RD to advocate for this division to be included?
Yeah, so usually I will ask my dad because number one, being under 18 means a lot of people don't listen to children, quote
Yeah.
unquote. Um, but usually I will ask my dad to help me message the person. I'll tell them what I think needs to happen. Like, oh, you guys don't have a para division. I would love to be there to be a para division. Even if it's just myself, I would love that. You don't need to offer prize money. You don't need to offer anything else. If it's just me, don't worry about it. But if there's multiple racers, maybe think about it. And so I will take myself and probably invite a few of my friends, and we will all create the para division. And then we would keep showing up at these races again and again.
So when you say you invite friends, are they local to where you are, or are they
Yeah,
traveling in? Go ahead.
I have two friends that are kind of local. My friend Maddie Wilson, who is, I think she's more upper Massachusetts, and then my friend Delmas Mayo, who's in Boston. So they are my teammates and the people I kind of just like to hang out with. So both inviting them to a race is a great way to advocate, but it's also a way for us to hang out and like have fun at the same time.
Are they also under 18?
Delmas is 20, and then Maddie is my age, so 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you travel as a pack, come one, come all. And does that have a bigger impact on the athletes around you? And I'll ask the question this way. When you go to a race by yourself, do you get noticed as much as when you're traveling or you're racing with your two other teammates?
It's really funny because most of the time people tend to notice us as a group, but me and Maddie get mixed up for each other most of the time. Same first name, same state that we're in, same age. So sometimes, yeah, we do get noticed most of the time, but we also get mixed up for one another very frequently. So
I want to ask this question,
yeah,
but I want to phrase it in a right way so that it doesn't come off as insensitive. When you're
it's
racing, when you're racing, do
mhm.
you get the sense sometimes that athletes that are out on the course with you are just giving you the attaboy because you're in a wheelchair as opposed to, come on, Mary, we got this, we can do this. You're an athlete like me type of mindset.
See, that's the thing. It really depends on the race as well. But sometimes I do feel that, and I'm like, I feel like I'm being talked to like a child, which I mean, yes, I am. But there's a certain level of respect that kind of I feel that boundary is lower when it comes to like a wheelchair racer, where they're like, "Oh, you got this!" Like that. I'm doing the same amount of work you guys are. Probably even more sometimes. Which I hate to say that, but sometimes when we're lugging water bags under our chairs and things like that, we have our gear to fix our wheelchairs sometimes in the longer races. So we
Well,
have
I
a
don't
lot.
disagree with you, Mary, because right when we're running for able-bodied athletes, our legs are our biggest muscles. So, right, it's going to take longer for us to get through the wear and tear of that to the exhaustion phase. Whereas for you, it's upper body, which are smaller muscles. And so pushing the chair is, I haven't been in a chair and I haven't pushed one, but I have to believe it's got to be harder than running as an able-bodied athlete because we're using bigger muscles.
I mean, I used to use braces and crutches a while back, and I can tell you, it's much easier to walk than it is to push a racing chair. And I had 50-pound leg braces on both of my legs at the time. So it's definitely really funny to feel that difference. I feel it's like once you, like, I was in a half marathon, I hit mile 10, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm still pushing. My arms don't feel like they're moving. That's when it gets to the point. And sometimes people ask me, like, do you get lactic like in your muscles? And I'm like, I don't know what that is, so I can't really tell you.
My guess is that you do
Yeah.
because their muscles are muscles, whether they're in your legs or in your shoulders. Um, how heavy is the chair? You mentioned 50-pound leg braces. How heavy is the chair?
The one that I race in is about 21 pounds, which is pretty light, decently. But depends on the person. But yeah, mine's pretty light. I have carbon fiber wheels with a aluminum base. So sometimes they're super light, and sometimes you'll find people whose are like 50 pounds, and you're like, oh my god, how do you push this thing? So it just really depends on the person. But yeah, mine's around 21 pounds. My day chair is like almost 50, so it's pretty light compared to what I regularly push in.
I mean, so on a regular basis, you're training because if you're pushing yourself around a 50-pound chair and then you race in a 20-pound chair, it's like baseball players who put a donut on the end of a bat and swing, and then they take off the donut, they go up to the plate, and it's the bat feels lighter.
A donut, like an actual like Dunkin' Donuts
Not
donut.
an eating donut,
Oh,
no.
okay.
It's a
I don't.
weighted. It's a certain. It looks like a donut, but it's a weight, and it makes the bat heavier when you swing it.
Oh, it's like those things you use to put your hair up in a bun, kind of, except it's weighted.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
exactly,
correct. All I can
exactly.
think of. Yeah, definitely this chair is a lot heavier, especially when it's school time and I have like tons of stuff in it. I'm an artist, so I bring around a sketchbook and pencils and things, and that upon regular school stuff is quite the haul there.
By the way, I love the reference to Duncan. Nothing says I'm from Massachusetts and the East Coast than referencing Duncan. I'm a New Yorker, but as well, by the way. So like Duncan was the thing that
Duncan.
we got coffee at when I was young.
I'll hail Duncan. I love Duncan so much. I do
It's
I'd do anything for Duncan.
Duncan, can we get a sponsorship here? I mean, she's giving you all the praise right now. Because I live on the West Coast. I lived in LA. I now in Seattle. I now live in Phoenix, and like finding a Dunkin' is almost impossible out here.
Yeah, because I travel down south so frequently, and like I love Culver's. Don't get me wrong, Culver's is great, but when it comes to when you want an iced tea or coffee, you can't find a Dunkin'. It's like 50 miles till your closest Dunkin', and you just cry 'cause you need it.
We'll have to ask your dad if he remembers the old commercials where the guy with the mustache and the paper hat would say it's time to make the donuts. He might remember those commercials.
That I didn't know those existed. I know of the Tom Brady commercials, but not that.
Yeah, no, this is like I said, I'm 52 years old, so I'm going way back in the old commercials where it would be, and they used to be called Dunkin' Donuts, by the way, before they got rid of the donuts in the name and only called it Dunkin'.
What? I didn't know
Yeah,
this.
my age is absolutely showing in this podcast episode now.
A little bit. It's okay though.
I love it. This is fantastic. Um, I mean, you just totally took me off track. I totally lost my train of thought, my questions. um, so when you, take us through a day of training, because you said, it was 10 o'clock when we started. You normally start training at 11. What does that look like?
So it really depends on the season because I'm a multi-sport athlete. It really depends. Like tonight, I'm going to powerlifting. I train with a strongman for powerlifting in the afternoons. But usually in a regular track season, I'll wake up at 4 a.m., which sounds crazy, but there's a reason. My school didn't have a track. So my school's getting a new school built. So we didn't have the track because they wrecked it to build it on top of it, which is a really strange thing to do, but okay. Um, so basically, they have us go to another local track to work out at 4 a.m. in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I do roller calls, which is kind of like, I don't know what they're called. They're called Wahoo kickers. Do you know what those
Yeah.
are? For
Yep.
bikes. I have something similar to that called a roller, and I use that for my racing wheelchair in the afternoon. I do 2 hours of that. So 1 hour in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and that's for 5 days of the week. And then usually I'll do local races on the weekends, or I'll go to Adaptive Sports New England where I help train the younger kids. So I get kind of a break, but I'm still in the chair.
Are the rollers for you? So I know of rollers for standard bike. There's two pins up front, two pins on the back, and you're riding the bike and you're not moving, but you're riding the bike and you're balancing. So is the roller similar to that where you have two pins where the wheel? No. Okay. Can you help me explain? Can you help me
It's
understand?
it's one cylinder in the back, right? And
Okay.
then the front is completely stable. So basically, when you have the back wheels, they move, but the front wheel doesn't. So
Yep.
then I don't like run into the wall that's in front of
Yep.
me.
Yep. Yep. And so for on a standard bike, it would be the same. So the front doesn't roll like
Mhm.
the front wheel is static basically, and then the back you actually roll. But I have seen videos, which is one of the reasons why I never trained on rollers, of athletes falling off of their bikes because you have to try to balance on the two wheels. Is there any opportunity for you to have any accidents when you're on the rollers in the chair?
Pretty much, unless you're not strapped down properly. And to that,
Okay.
I say probably should have checked it beforehand before you got on it. Um, you got to have some responsibility when it comes to the roller because you need to make sure you're firmly tight on it, or you could like slide off the back, which is not fun. But definitely, I think there's not much of injury that could happen unless you're transferring in and out of it incorrectly,
Mm-hmm.
which I've done before. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't follow my lead. uh, what is
We
it? Do what I say, not as I do, I think is the saying.
Yeah, that is it. You nailed it. So with on bikes, we have power meters in our pedals that measure watts and output and all of that good stuff. For you, do you have tools and technology that allow you to measure your progress as an athlete in terms of power output, or what are you measuring when you're in the chair?
So I'm usually making sure that my heart rate stays consistent.
Yep.
Heart injuries are very common amongst some racers, especially if they have spinal cord injuries. So you'll see a lot of people who have, like, I have a Garmin watch on, and I use
Mm-hmm.
this to monitor my heart rate. It connects to my it's called Cat Eye, I believe, and it's
Yep.
a computer, and it's pretty much the same one that you guys use for bikes, except I think I have it on my back wheels currently, and it's just calibrated to the size of the wheel and then
Yep.
everything like that. So it's pretty much the same stuff you guys use, same technology, except adapted a tiny bit differently because they actually have apps specifically for the wheelchair racers to use.
So we have on our handlebars a mount where the
Mm-hmm.
bike computer will sit on the mount. Where are you looking at the bike computer while you're racing, or are you using your watch predominantly?
I'm using my bike computer the most. My dad actually had him and one of his coworkers have his coworker has a 3D printer, and they made a CAD design to attach it to my wheelchair, which was really cool. I'm the only one currently with it, but I would love to like start selling them because it's gotten to the point where it doesn't fall off my wheelchair and it works really well. So I'm definitely gonna have to like see if I can get that out there, or at least as a free 3D print.
Get that patent and trademark going first.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Protect that IP before you know it.
Yeah.
We want to get you making money on the device sooner rather than later, and protect against others taking it for sure.
True. True.
So when you're racing, so you said at Boston you've done the 5K and the 10K, correct?
Hmm.
And you've done a half marathon, and you're going to be racing at Philly, correct?
I did a half marathon. I was in Las Vegas on the Strip.
So what's the mindset when it comes to racing? And before you answer, I will tell you what mine is. So my mindset when I race is all gas and no brakes. And I go out there, I'm going to push the envelope as hard as I can for as long as I can. And sometimes that means that I don't finish, or I finish a lot worse than I expected because I've ran out of gas before I got to the finish line. And other times the gas runs out when I cross the finish line, right? So for me, I'm willing to test myself, my mental ability to push my body, as well as the physical aspect of pushing my body. Are you the kind of person who goes in and goes, I'm going to give this all that I've got from the get go? Or are you the kind of person that says, okay, I'm going to pace myself because I want to finish this race and here's what it looks like for me? Like, is there a strategy involved, I guess?
For me, it's kind of in between, I feel. My first thought is be safe, don't run over people,
Yeah.
because that is highly an issue, especially when people have earbuds in and things while racing. It's more me being aware of them than them being aware of me most of the time. So most of the time, my mindset is go, but if you need to stop due to danger, perfectly fine. And then just
Yeah.
reroute yourself, regroup, and go. Be flexible, basically.
I love it. What's that like with regards to athletes as you're coming up on them from behind? And are you, as you're passing on your left, so you're going to be passing them on their left? Do they, because most runners don't understand that. Like cyclists get it, but most runners don't understand that. So when you yell on your left, are they starting to move to their left before realizing that's
It's really funny. I have some Insta 360 recordings because that's how I film my videos of people just stepping in front of me, not realizing that that's my left. Like, my dad will be on the bike behind me and he's like, wheelchair racer coming through, full like yelling. And I'm
yeah,
like, excuse me, as I'm wheeling myself past. It's really funny, but it's also kind of dangerous. But
yeah.
then I'm going really close to them and having to swerve really quickly going back, which is very dangerous. But it becomes a really funny video afterwards. So as long as they're not hurt, I think it's okay.
It's funny because we're able to laugh about it now, but I was
Yeah.
thinking it's got to be very dangerous, because if you're passing on your left and they step into the left, like there's an opportunity for you to hit them as well as and take them out and hurt them as well as hurt yourself, correct?
Yeah, most of the time that is something that I have to be careful with, especially because shoes, like my wheels can catch on people's shoes. I don't want to
Hmm.
give people Achilles tears; those are not fun.
Yeah.
But definitely, it's it becomes a point where sometimes before races we have to announce that there's wheelchair racers there because people are just in their own world, which I totally get. But I think I'm a little bit more aware than others because I have to be, you know? So definitely that's kind of the funny thing. Is just it goes over their head a little bit because, they don't expect to see a wheelchair racer go by them.
Well, I think that, and so I want to get into the advocacy part of this a little bit more because I think that's super important. Because when we go to start lines as able bodied athletes, we are in our own world for sure. And because there isn't enough conversation around para athletes and disabled athletes, we don't take the time to look out for those athletes at the start line, which then could be an issue later on in the race because we're not expecting it, right? We're solely focused on our performance. So, how can we get loud? How can we be good stewards of the sport and advocate for acknowledgement of para athletes and wheelchair athletes so that it is a safe environment for everybody out on the race course?
I would really love to see people looking out for the athletes before it's announced. Being aware that there is someone in a wheelchair who will pass you at 30 miles per hour on a downhill. So, really just making sure you know that, but also supporting your fellow athletes, not treating them as something like, oh, you're in a wheelchair, you're doing great, but pushing them because we're in it together. We're
Hmm.
both doing whatever length of race it is. We're all struggling on these uphills, on these downhill. Well, you guys struggle on the downhills like a flying, but it's the truth. I have wheels. It's the truth. But no, definitely just like cheering each other on. Those uphills can be terrible for everyone. Don't get me started on the Falmouth Road Race final hill. That is
Yeah,
torture in itself.
we
And
might
then
be out at the Cape Cod Marathon next year. So we have the Everyday Athlete Clubhouse Run Club Tour. This year we are doing 6 races in 7 cities or excuse me, over 7 months in 6 different cities. And we're going to be planning our next event next year or tour next year. And the Cape Cod Marathon is one of them. Juliana, who is the announcer out there, I had her on the podcast a few months ago. We talked about it, and she mentioned the Falmouth race itself as well. So there's a good chance we might be out there.
Falmouth Road Race is something to be reckoned with. One of the hardest races I've done. I'm going back again this year. Very excited. And I'd say my water on my chair broke. So technical issues are something I come across multiple times, but I have never gotten a day where hydration was not an option. And it really scared me when I wasn't able to have water the whole time. And then my heart rate monitor slipped off. So it was quite the challenge trying to get around that.
So what else can we do? We have a platform here that has a podcast, we have newsletters, we have obviously our social media. What can we here at the Everyday Athlete community do, and how do we get other media platforms and influencers involved in talking about para athletes, wheelchair athletes, disabled athletes, so that it isn't that demeaning comment like, come on, you got this. And there's recognition of the athlete as well as understanding of the necessities for safety out on the course.
Yeah, well, definitely the everyday athlete already does amazing work. I've listened to a few of the podcasts already before it came on. There was a hand cyclist who came on the podcast a few months back. I'm not sure, but you guys already have had a lot of disabled athletes, and that's the first thing to do is really just include them in things like this. Just getting to listen to their like ideas and things like that. That's something that comes first. And definitely for athletes on the course who want to make a difference, maybe volunteering with some of the disabled athletes. Achilles International is a great way to learn more about adaptive sports and things like that, along with just looking at local friends of yours if they're disabled, just trying to egg them on to get on the course or come with you. Even if it is you pushing them, at least they are getting out there and it creates more awareness for adaptive sports.
Yeah, we say it a lot here. The words might be meaningless to some, but they are impactful for us. And it's that representation matters. And the more people can see others participating in these sports, the better it is. The athlete you're talking about, his name is December. We had him on the podcast a few months ago. And one of the things he taught me in that conversation, and I'll ask you about, was porta potties. And I think your reaction is priceless.
Oh, I know.
Again, because I'm not in a wheelchair, these are not things that I'm looking out for as an able-bodied athlete that I have started to look out for. And it's that there's not enough porta potties, either at the start line and then throughout the course, which was the thing that surprised me the most, right? Like if you're going to put a wheelchair, adaptive porta potty at the start, you would think you'd have more throughout the course because you actually took the time to think about it to begin with. Is that a source of frustration for you as an athlete as well?
Well, sadly, I'm kind of tucked into my chair, so I can't go to the bathroom throughout any of my races, which is
Okay.
kind of terrible. But at the starting line, at the BAA, love them, perfectly fine. But when it comes to porter potties, we had imagine a ton of like teenage like elite athletes. So me and my friends, and then the actual like Paralympians there, all waiting in line for 2 accessible stalls. It was really funny. I'm like, oh my god, this is so exciting. Inclusion. There's so many of us. But also I'm like, I really need to go to the bathroom. I wish there was another one. So it was both a great thing to see, but also I think having more accessible bathrooms, I totally see the need for it.
If you
It's
had to
really
guess, how many wheelchair athletes were at Boston? If you had to guess, how many were in line?
5K. I'd say more, like about 20. It was a pretty big field, 27 at
Yeah.
least. They have a really big field for BAA events, and that is because they have great accommodations, great everything. It's usually a very accessible course. Everything is accessible. It's wonderful. Bathrooms are an issue, though.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you do the math, right, 30 athletes, 2 accessible stalls, you're looking at 15 per stall. That, as people are trying to get ready to race, that adds up. That time adds up. That anxiety adds up. That stress adds up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Especially when you drink a Celsius before and you have caffeine in your don't do that. I've learned that. I love Celsius so much, but like you just gotta be able to live. It's hard to like live with that having to go to the bathroom a whole race. Not fun.
Yeah. I can't imagine that not being fun at all. For how long? So how long is a 5K or a 10K take you?
I can do a 5K in about 19 to 20 minutes and a 10K in about 40 minutes.
Yeah. So if you have to hold it for 20 to 40 minutes and then for a half marathon even longer, like that's
Yeah,
so uncomfortable.
I did in an hour and 15 minutes, which pretty decent. It was my first half marathon. I was only in 2 years of the sport at that time. I'm going on 3, I believe. So definitely pretty good. But yeah, holding the bathroom for that long is quite the issue. Yeah.
What's the vision for the marathon? Is doing Boston the first marathon you want to do, or is it something? No, you're shaking your head. No. What's the first marathon you want to do then?
Whatever pops up that's flat. I want to be able to have I don't want to deal with Heartbreak Hill my first time doing a marathon because
Yeah.
something I enjoy running, yes, but I don't want the first time for me to have to be a struggle, I kind of
Yeah.
want it to be like a rehearsal of what I want, the Boston to be like. So definitely trying to create that. Yeah.
Educate me on this because I don't know. Boston is not a goal of mine, so I don't know like qualifying times. Are there qualifying times for wheelchair racers?
There is a qualifying time for wheelchair racers. You can also get invited by the BAA without the qualifying time. I've gone really close with the BAA. I'm hoping that I don't have to do the qualifying time because it's really low, and I haven't done a marathon before, so that's gonna be a challenge.
Here,
But I definitely know
hopefully
that.
Mary gets back.
Oh,
It broke up for a second there. So you were saying that there are qualifying times for Boston?
There is qualifying times for Boston, and they're quite challenging qualifying times, especially with classifications. Classifications are basically how disabled you are, which sounds really messed up, but
It does.
on a platform where you're racing, that's what happens in track field. But no matter your classification, the time is still the same for Boston, which can lead to some really tough times to beat or to actually qualify for. So that's something that I struggle with. And the time is about 2 hours and 25 minutes, according to sources that I know.
Are there qualification standards for athletes, and who sets them? Is it the U.S. Olympic Committee? Like, so does every race have the same? So if Paris Marathon and Boston Marathon and New York City Marathon, Tokyo, all these do they have the same standards for disabilities?
I don't know. I haven't got to that point yet in my race.
That's okay. We'll have to do some research.
Talk about classification. Yeah. Oh, he's asking about para classification. Okay, so
Yes.
para classification, basically when you're racing, it's based off of age. So we have masters, grandmasters, elite, open class, things like that. But your disability doesn't matter on the road as much as it does on the track.
Okay.
So
Boston has a certain level, and then maybe if you're racing New York City Marathon, it would be something different potentially then?
pretty much, yeah. Each way to qualify for them is different, which can lead to some confusion. It's kind of annoying, but it's understandable because they're not all run by the same person. So
Right. In a perfect world, would you want to have the disabled classifications be the same across all events? This way, you know what you have to do in order to qualify for a particular event?
I would love, so the classifications only apply to track and field. So I would love for them to also apply for road races where each time is different
Yeah.
disability. The highest level of a racer.
You're required to be a T53 or 54 to be in the marathon.
Oh, okay. So you're required to be something called a T53 or T54 to be in the marathons. You can't be anything below that. That is due to safety reasons and things like that. But on the track, you could basically have any classification. I currently am a T53, while most racers will fall in the T54 category. If you've heard of Tatiana McFadden, she's a T54. So,
and what is that number represent? What does T53 and T54 represent?
So that classification is based off spinal cord injuries, but for athletes like myself who don't have spinal cord injuries, classification becomes quite difficult, especially where a disability like mine. I have arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, meaning that I have lack of muscle or my muscle doesn't have definition. And my legs were tucked up behind me with contractures when I was younger. And I have a bunch of other stuff. It can affect the whole entire body or just parts of the body. So it's really hard when someone has stuff that impacts their whole body, like myself. I have slanted shoulders, as you could see. I have a fused scapula, so everything up here is stuck together. If I move one arm, the other one has to move with it. So basically, that impacts my pushing. And most athletes usually have only below leg issues. Before, I had to classify before going into a 5K for BAA, and it was quite the experience, I'd say. It feels like a doctor's appointment to like the extreme, like 10 times more extreme.
Really?
Yeah, and that's because they want to make sure it's fair. That's understandable. But you also got people poking and prodding at your back, and you're just like, hello? Yes. Oh, and then they also do a measuring tape and measure your arm length and how far your arms can go, and do you have core, or can you flex your arm, and things like that. So they go down to the nitty-gritty details. And to be classified as a T53, to have proof that I actually do have a fused scapula, I had to show an x-ray. So it really gets to nitty-gritty details when it gets to these classifications.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to explain that fully, because again, we as able-bodied athletes don't have to deal with this. And so as you're giving that explanation, I'm starting to think in my head the added stress and anxiety of having to go through this invasive process to be accepted into the race in general, right? We already have pre-race anxiety, performance anxiety, and now as a disabled athlete, you now have to go through this whole process to be essentially approved to
Yeah,
race
pretty
at
much.
this point,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much at this point. But you'll find people at some races where there's quadriplegic divisions, so it really just depends on the race.
I appreciate you taking the time to explain all of this stuff and to also have a good laugh with me, letting me know that I am old, because it is
Oh,
Dunkin' Donuts at one point.
it's Dunkin'. No, I call it Dunkin' Donuts too. So
You don't have to make me feel good. I know I'm old. It's okay. One of the things I love to do, Mary, is I call them rapid fire food questions that we'll jump to in a second. But before we do that, where can people find you? Where can they read your story? How can they get in touch with you if they're interested in finding out more about Mary MacDonald?
So you can reach out to me through marynolimits.com, where all of my socials are linked. I also have a merch page. You guys can buy clothes with my face on it. It's so cool. I think it's really funny. And I have my Instagram, of course. I have a YouTube channel. My Instagram is Massachusetts Miss Amazing, and my YouTube channel is Mary No Limits. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you win at nationals at Miss Amazing, are you gonna have to change your name?
I can't. That's due to some stuff that I got, like stuff that I've had, and if I change it, then Miss Amazing's gonna be mad at me. So I don't think that would be good. They already have their name on the page. So
That's awesome. All right, are you ready for some food questions?
yes, let's go. I love food.
Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Depends on the day, but yeah, mostly yay.
So does the pineapple on the pizza have to come with like pepperoni or Canadian bacon, or can you literally just eat pineapple on pizza?
Eat just pineapple on pizza, but the pineapple needs to be cooked.
Oh, interesting. As in grilled or cooked how?
It needs to be grilled.
Look at that. Look at how happy that made you. Grilled
Yeah,
pineapple.
I did like pineapple.
I love it. Okay. Is red velvet cake a real flavor, or is it just chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom?
Chocolate cake just dressed up go to the prom. I love chocolate, and I was allergic to red food dye at one point, so I knew that it was just when I asked for red velvet cake, they would just give me chocolate. So I knew it was that.
For all you bakers out there, don't send in hate mail. I've already had the disclaimer. I get it. When red velvet cake has alkalized cocoa, it's a different thing as opposed to when we go to a regular grocery store and the sheet cake there is literally just red food dye and the chocolate cake. I have to add that disclaimer, Mary, because I've gotten messages before.
I didn't even know it was alkalized, like alkalized water kind of thing.
Cocoa, yeah, yeah.
Cocoa. Oh, that's so interesting. Huh,
That's
I'll look that
what yeah, it's different than like if you go to your local grocery store and they have the cake in the display, that's typically going to be just chocolate cake with red food dye to make it red velvet. But a true bakery will use like alkalized cocoa and special ingredients to make the red velvet cake.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, exactly. Your favorite chocolate candy is?
Oh gosh. Do I have to pick?
Yes, we do hard things here, Mary.
Twix, probably. Twix.
Yes. You
Yeah,
go left or right first.
both. I don't really care. I'm a menace. I'll eat both at the same time. Same with the Kit Kat. I'll eat all of them, like and people.
No,
Yeah,
you don't break the pieces. You just bite it like a sandwich.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh no, Mary, what are you doing?
It's chocolate. I mean, there shouldn't be a wrong way to eat.
But there is. You got to crack the little pieces. Your favorite non-chocolate candy is?
Probably Jolly Ranchers.
Favorite flavor of Jolly Rancher?
Oh, green apple.
Green apple, right? Hands down. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Favorite flavor of cake?
Cake. Oh gosh. I like this specific cake called Death by Chocolate from Greg's. It's literally just chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. It's beautiful and I love it.
How many layers?
Oh, it's like 3 layers and it's chocolate frosting. It's very decadent. And then they have chocolate like flakes all over the sides.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And they have a peanut butter version too, which is chocolate and peanut butter. That's delicious.
Oh, so is the peanut butter in between the cake?
It's very good.
Man. That sounds fantastic.
Are you saying that chocolate's my favorite because I do chocolate protein shakes? Okay. That's not the chocolate protein shakes are a different story.
We have had Caleb and his mom Karen. Caleb has Down syndrome. He's an endurance athlete with Down syndrome, and chocolate is his absolute favorite too. And that's like anytime I ask him a question about food, chocolate is the answer for all of it.
I get that. I so vibe with that. Yeah.
Your favorite flavor of pie is?
Probably apple or peach.
Now, with either or, do you put vanilla ice cream on top?
Yeah.
But not chocolate ice cream on pie.
Oh no, that's unless it's like the Oreo pudding, like the Oreo pudding one. That's it.
So what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Is it chocolate ice cream?
I like Rocky Road actually.
Very, very nice.
Or Culver's caramel chocolate cookie dough, which I think is really just Rocky Road. I think that's the same thing, except it's what's it called? Whatever Culver's serves instead of ice cream. Yeah. Custard.
Custard, yes, custard.
Yeah.
Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers every day of the week.
Cheeseburger?
Yes, cheeseburger, but with bacon. I have this saying that whatever an uncle or like a older man would eat after like going to a bar or something is what I get after a race. It's a really funny joke that I made up for myself because after Las Vegas, I got a double patty bacon cheeseburger, and I was like, I feel like somebody who was an uncle would eat this. Like
onion rings or French fries?
French fries. Yeah.
What type of French fries? Waffle fries, tater tots, shoestring, steak?
Curly fries from Arby's.
Curly fries?
Yeah, from Arby's. Specifically.
Specific. I like it.
The seasoning.
Last question for you. A tray of brownies has come out of the oven. It's been sitting on the counter long enough that you can cut it. Do you go corner piece? Do you go edge piece? Or do you go middle ooey gooey piece?
Oh gosh, probably corner piece.
Why?
I like crunch.
Yes.
That's it, just the crunch.
Yes, and it has a handle on it, right? Because you can hold it. It's easy.
You're not gonna have like this ooey gooey thing that's like falling all over your hands.
Exactly. When it comes to lasagna, are you also a corner piece for lasagna?
I hate lasagna with a passion. This was due to the fact that my dad would do frozen lasagna in the oven when my mom was at work until 7, and this was when I was like 5 years old. So I am very traumatized by ricotta cheese from lasagna, but I can have a cannoli any day of the week. So,
Cannolis, are you getting the chocolate chips or the pistachios on the end?
Both. Like if I could have both on one, that would be beautiful. It would be magical.
There's a bakery in Boston. I think it's called Mike's. Is that the name of it? I think it's called. It's in the North End. We've gone there. My wife and I have been to Boston 3 times in the last 2 years, and we've been to that place every single time. Cash only place.
I don't know. I'll have to look for it. I'll ask my friend who lives in Boston for you.
I'll have to email you as well. I'll look it up. But we would. There's a pizza place called Otto, so we would go to Otto and get pizza, and then we would cross the street and go get cannolis at I think it's called Mike's. I'll have to send you the information.
A nice Italian dinner there.
It's perfect. It's ideal. And we're not even racing. We're just carb loading because it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary, you've been a fantastic guest. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show and chat with me and educate not only myself, but our audience. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you. For those of you that stuck around for the conversation with Mary, I really appreciate it. I learned a lot about para racing and wheelchair racing from Mary and the various things that she has to go through on race day. And I am asking you to do a little bit of research and then encourage your local RDs to make sure that there are porta potties and that there are announcements for wheelchair athletes, and that their race registration page has drop downs for disabled athletes, so that we can get everybody into these sports, because these sports give so much to us and allow us to do hard things and grow as people. So I will see you again next week on the next Fireside Chat. Thanks for joining me. Have a great one, everybody.